What's up, guys? Welcome to the Stats Free Sports Channel. Here to bring you 10 NFL players who I believe will have a breakout season this year. 10 breakout candidates. Let's get into it, guys. Let's hop right on it. And there's levels to breakout. You're going to have some guys who are rotational or even bench to rotational players to, starters to Pro Bowlers slash stars. So there are levels to it. So you might see a couple of big names up here. You like why they up here. I do have reasoning, but you might see a couple of guys who had great years last year, but I think they have an even better year or cement their name with another great year this year. It might be a star, for their team for the upcoming future. So let's get into it, guys. You see me look to the side. I have my notes here pulled up. But we're gonna start with no particular order. I don't have no favorites on this list at all. But we're gonna start with the guy in the thumbnail, and that's Jelani Woods from the Colts. I was high on him a couple years ago from the 2021, 2022 draft class. And the Colts tight end room is definitely stacked. Nothing crazy in front of him, or around him. Mo Alley Cox, Andrew Ogletree, Granderson, are all there with Jelani Woods. A lot of Colts fans, or I say some, I wouldn't say a lot, but some Colts fans and some media, mainstream media, was saying that they should go after Brock Bowers. I never was on that bandwagon. I've always felt like Jelani Woods. Now he's not Brock Bowers, obviously, but he is athletic, skilled, big man that can make it happen. And I think battling injuries last year, he showed a little bit of promise. His rookie year last year, battled with injuries, just didn't pan out. Not a great year. I think this year is his year. I truly do. And if not, you could definitely see a bunch of those tight ends for the Colts being moved on from, and they go with someone from this year's class to be their new star tight end. You have everything in the works. You have good running back in JT. You have a sophomore quarterback in Richardson who needs to develop chemistry with all his guys, and you need to have a safety blanket. And as I said, Jelani Woods, big body, quick, fast, good hands. I think he will be the best option as far as the tight end goes in that tight end room. Molali Cox is decent. Granderson's decent. Andrew Ogletree is okay. But I think Jelani Woods is the standout athlete there. And he's, I believe is the best player and will rise to the top um, of that depth chart sooner or later, sometime this season for the Colts. Number two on this list, another tight end, my favorite, or from my favorite team, Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts has to be on this list. And it's crazy to me, and I still say this. I had to fight off my fellow Falcons fans this off season, doing off season videos. Our head coach got fired, our former head coach, Arthur Smith, and we were in the headlines a lot for a lot of moves, a lot of potential moves. But I had to fight off my fellow Falcons fans, to say we need to trade Kyle Pitts. I don't know where that came from, but they were telling me to trade Kyle Pitts for a third, for a fourth, for a fifth, get off him. I'm like, no, no. He just had a rough couple years, and from the get go, Kirk has been saying, let's get Kyle Pitts involved. Let's get him going. He is the key to this team. I've been saying that for years, especially this off season where fans were saying we're gonna get off of Kyle Pitts. Let's get rid of him. He's washed. He's trash. No, 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 no. Give him one more year before we got to give him the fifth year extension and stuff like that. I think this is the year. Everything we've seen from camp is Kyle Pitts centric. Kyle Pitts is doing well. Kirk loves Kyle Pitts. MPJ loves Kyle Pitts. I think we're going to be fine. I think Kyle Pitts will have a breakout year, and we're going to see why that we drafted him and why he was a unicorn. A couple years ago from out of Florida. So I'm all in on Kyle Pitts. I'm fine with paying him after this year as well. I think he will have a phenomenal season, and he'll be a Pro Bowler. I truly do. And there's another tight ends on the list as well. I think one or two more. Check my notes, but I think a couple of tight ends, Woods, Pitts. Even he's not on this list. He was on this on. Can't even talk. He was on this list last year. The tight end from the Tennessee Titans. I forgot his name now, but he was on the list last year. So I'm a big tight end guy, and I have three on this list: Jelani Woods, Pitts, and one to come later. So um, I really think that this year will be the year of the tight ends. The young guys will flourish. But let's get on with the list, guys. Number three, I have Will McDonald from the New York Jets. He's in prime position to be a breakout player after last year not playing as much as we all thought. But that Jets defensive rotation, the D line rotation was stacked. Bryce Huff, uh, Jonathan Myers, John Myers, Franklin, Jeremiah Johnson. The list goes on, and uh, I think Will McDonald takes the role of breakout player that Jeremiah Johnson was last year. A lot of people, including myself, had him on my breakout players list. He didn't quite break out. He had an okay year, but didn't quite break out. But this year, Will McDonald is on my list. Led the Big 12 in sacks a couple years ago, coming out of I forgot where he came from, but coming from his school, very good sack guy, high pressures, high motor, all that good stuff. And this year with the Jets, no Bryce Huff, he's now gone. Jeremiah Johnson's cool, but like I said, he didn't quite break out last year. Then you have John Myers Franklin, he's going to the Broncos, I believe. And then you have the issue with Hassan Reddick. Will he stay? Will he go? Does he want to be there with no contract? We'll see. He did demand a trade. The Jets came out immediately, said you're not going nowhere, so we'll see. But I think Will McDonald is prime and ready to have a great year this year. And as I said last year, didn't play as much as we hoped. If you're a Jets fan or just a fan of him, but I think this year will be his year. Number four, scroll my notes trying to find somebody. Here we go. I got a bunch of notes written down. Jalen Tolbert, number four, Jalen Tolbert from the Dallas Cowboys. I loved him in college. I believe from SMU, if I'm not mistaken. Just guessing. Can't see it in my notes nowhere. No, he's from South Alabama. Sorry, South Alabama. SMU was Khalil Shakir from the Bills, I believe, but he's not on this list. He should have been, but he's not on this list. I think he had an okay year last year, and he could be on this list, but I just left him off. He's someone you see on a bunch of people lists, so I did something a little different. Went with Jalen Tolbert from the Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb going through his contract issues, but it'll get resolved at some point. Brandon Cooks is there as well. Deep threat, great player. I love Brandon Cooks, but Michael Gallup is now gone, and you need someone to take over that third spot, and I think Tolbert is the man for the job. I said it last year during the trade deadline. When I thought, Gallup wasn't performing well, Tolbert didn't get a lot of playing time. I did a couple trade predictions around the trade deadline to help the Cowboys get better at that third spot. But it didn't. It never came. But I think this year Tolbert will step up, go into his third year, primed and ready. He's battling guys like Terrapin, who's normally their return guy. Terrapin had an okay preseason. He made some plays here and there, as well as the last couple of years. He made some plays. He's okay as receiver, but I think Tolbert, seeing what we've seen from college and a couple of years in the preseason and even inside of the games in the regular season, I think he's a better player, plain and simple. So with him battling guys like Tolbert, who's some more guys he's battling with? I have it on my notes right here. He's battling Tolbert. Excuse me, Tolbert's battling Turpin, Jalen Brooks, and Ryan Florney. Like I have him better than all those guys. They're solid. They're okay, but if everyone plays to their full potential, I think Tolbert is going to be a good player, and he's going to be, probably the fourth option behind Lamb, Cooks, and even the tight end Ferguson, who had a great year last year, awesome year last year for tight end Ferguson. So I think Tolbert can definitely have around 40, 30, 40, 50 catches, depending on how everything goes, and have some decent yardage as well, and be, a reliable fourth option or third receiver for that Dallas Cowboys squad there. Next on this list, number five, and that's Keanu Benton. If you a sophomore player, a second year player coming from, I think, Nebraska, but if you watch my draft, my draft reactions a couple years ago when he got drafted, he was my favorite player or one of them from the draft last year. Very good player. I thought he would be a game changer. Pretty good year last year. But seeing that the rumor mills is super heavy on Cam Hayward being moved now was later or eventually, or this could be his last year there. I think Benton steps up this year, takes a bigger role, and he got good playing time last year. I think he started 9 games, finished with 36 tackles, 1 sack, 2 forced fumbles, and 8 quarterback hits. I think everything will be dang near doubled. Most of those numbers to me will be doubled this year. More consistent, starting every game if he's healthy, playing with the playing with Watt and those guys fully healthy. I think they'll be just fine. And linebacker behind him, the linebacking core has been evolved. We got Patrick Queen, Peyton Wilson now. As I say, still have Cam Hayward for right now, but all signs point to this maybe being Cam Hayward's last year, and this being Keanu Benton team. Halfway this year, then the rest it'll be his squad for the next couple of years. So I'm all with it. He was one of my favorite guys in the draft. Had a good year last year, and I think he'll only do better this year. And as I said, maybe a year early for him on this list because Cam Hayward is still there. But I think next year for sure, if he doesn't break out this year, next year for sure, Benton should be primed to be on this list. Um, Number 6, I have J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins from the Chargers. This only depends on health, plain and simple. Only depends on health. If he's healthy, he'll be just fine. He should be not one of the better backs, but he should be a very good back. And we haven't seen that yet. We have seen flashes, but nothing for a full year yet. And that's a sucky part about just sports. You can't wish everyone great health. It just happens. Some people have bad health, and he's uber talented out of Ohio State years ago now, and everything about camp has shown I've been seeing and reading things that he's been doing well. It just you have to, and you've been known that. We all know that, but Dobbins have to just be healthy. And it's all comes down to sometimes just luck. He's uber talented, can do it all, out the backfield, receive, run, all that good stuff. Just gotta show it. And the Chargers O line, their new scheme with the new head coach, Jim Harbaugh, the OC, Greg Roman, everything's pointing to them being great. And the running game being a focal point. Him, Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Spiller, if he's still around, and the list goes on. They have a bunch of running backs who can all be, high end or good RB2s. I don't think, and I mentioned this a couple months ago. I talked about the Chargers in the draft or something. I forgot what it was, but I talked about this a couple months ago. They don't really have an RB1. Gus Edwards is not RB1 material normally. Dobbins probably is, but like I said, can you rely on him to be RB1? So it's iffy. We'll see how everything pans out, but um, I definitely think Dobbins, if he's healthy, main thing is his health. If he can be on the field and be available, and behind his O line, I think he'll have a great year. I truly do. Not elite, but he'll have a very good year and get on track to being, what he could have been and should have been the last couple of years in Baltimore. Next on this list, and this is the one that's gonna be, if you're this far into the video, I'm glad for staying. But this is the one that's gonna be like, why is he on this list? And he's labeled as an edge. I say defensive tool, defensive weapon. Trayvon Walker from the Jacksonville Jaguars, former number 1 overall pick a couple years ago, played very well last year. The numbers stand out. 10 sacks last year, bunch of other big plays. I think there's room for improvement, and I think that will be had this year. He's an overall weapon, not just an edge. Plays D tackle, plays D end, 3 tech, 5. He plays everything, and he definitely, um, will have still more room to grow, and you have the addition of Eric Armstead, formerly of the 49ers. I think, that opens up even more for him and Josh Allen, and like I said, Walker's a versatile weapon, super versatile, can do it all. And like I said, he had a good year last year, but going into the last couple of games of the season, his sack numbers came so high because he played the Carolina Panthers, got 2 or 3 sacks. He played a couple of sorry teams, got a two sacks here and there as well. So the numbers kind of inflated towards the end of the season. Still his numbers. And look, numbers are numbers. You got them. You look good doing it. So cool. But I still think the impact can be a little bit more from Trayvon Walker, from having from being good to now being great. And I think he will make that leap to being great. And I said this before as well. The Jaguars need a defensive player to be great. Josh Allen, very, very good, got paid like he's great, but he's not there, in my opinion. Trayvon Walker, very, very good, not great quite yet. He needs to get there. So one of those two or even both need to get there to help that Jacksonville Jaguars team reach the next level, because I truly don't believe in Trevor Lawrence as far as being a superstar quarterback. He's good, same as those guys, Trayvon Walker and Allen, but he's not great in my opinion. And that's just, I think, will be the downside of the Jaguars until that's rectified. Someone has to step up and be great. Josh Allen and or Walker. Uh, it may be Lawrence. It may be Lawrence. I don't think it will be Lawrence, but it may be Lawrence. So we'll see. We'll see there. I lost count where I'm at now, to be honest, but I know a few more left. I know my list. I think that was seven. I have three more left. One, two, yeah, it should be seven. So let's go with another tight end. Last tight end on this list, and back to back players. You could definitely say why he's on this list, but I think he's due for a superstar breakout year, just like Trayvon Walker, and that's Trey McBride, tight end from the Cardinals. Had an awesome year last year. You look at his year, you see like why he's up here. Why is he up here? He shouldn't be up here. I think he should be. I think he's going for a big leap this year. Probably, we all know Kelsey Kittle are tight end 1 and 2. I think Kyle Pitts is coming. I think Trey McBride is coming. I don't think Jelani Woods, if he does break out, he'll be that high as pushing those two guys. But I think Trey McBride could end this year as possibly tight end 3. I truly do. And good year last year. His quarterbacks last year for most of the season was Dobbs and Clayton Tune. You have a full year of Kyler Murray. You have a full year of a new offensive play caller in Drew Petzing. You have Kyler Murray for a full year, as I just said. You have Marvin Harrison Jr., who's going to be a stud. You have Michael Wilson. You have Greg Dortch, who should be on this list as well, or could be on this list as well. I left him off. I didn't want to have two players from the same team. So many teams to go around, but there's a lot of guys on this Cardinal team, or a couple guys on this Cardinals team who could be on this list. And Greg Dort is one of those. As I said, even Michael Wilson, he could be as well. But it's gonna be tough to do man-on-man coverage. I mean, it's gonna be tough to double anybody. You have Michael Wilson, who's a threat. Greg Dort, who could be a threat. Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride. And Trey McBride was phenomenal second half of the year last year, and I think he'll pick right up where he left off. As I said, Kyler loves throwing to his tight ends. He just got to have a good one, and he has a very, very good one now in Trey McBride. So I think he'll have a standout year and could be, and probably will be tight end 3 as far as when it's all said and done, the best in the league next year. Him or Kyle Pitts definitely could be tight end 3. Last two left, 9 and 10. 8 was Trey McBride. 9 and 10, you have Cincinnati Bengals running back. Well, that's 9, not 9 and 10. He's one player. But Cincinnati Bengals running back, Chase Brown, due for a breakout year. Had a good year last year when the quarterback was what's fella's name? Uh, shoot, can't think of his name. Jake Browning. Jake Browning was a quarterback, had a pretty good year before he got injured. I think a hip injury took him out for the rest of the year. But under Jake Browning, who wasn't stretching the field around the ball at all. Excuse me, said it all wrong. Jake Browning wasn't stretching the ball across the field at all. The offense wasn't moving the ball down the field at all. Very short yardage situations, very real dink and dunk style of offense. Chase Brown was very good. Running the ball, receiving the ball, he was very good. Now, no Joe Mixon. He's going with the Texans. They traded him during the offseason. You have Zach Moss and Chase Brown. Zach Moss, more of a power back guy who I love a lot. And if you know me, you follow the channel, I was very upset the coach didn't bring Zach Moss back. I think Zach Moss was phenomenal for the coach last year. But now with the Bengals, he'll be there. But I think Chase Brown will be the main back, will be RB1. If not from the get, I don't know their depth chart. I haven't seen. But if not from the get go, I think, eventually early on in the season, you'll see Chase Brown get most of the reps. Do it all guy, has some good speed to him, athletic. I think he's an overall better player than Zach Moss and more versatile, more dynamic as well. But Moss is no joke. I like him a lot. And then last on this list, number 10, Marvin Mims. Marvin Mims from the Broncos. Um, Bo Nix starting quarterback. I think that's going to be set in stone, if not named already. No surprise here. Obviously Bo Nix came in as one of the more NFL rated quarterbacks, fits Sean Payton's system down to a T. And I still believe Courtland Sutton will be traded at some point this year. I truly think so. With that new ding and dunk system they have in Denver with Bo Nix, there's no need to keep Courtland Sutton around. It's really not. So I think eventually, sooner than later, you're going to see Courtland Sutton be moved on from. Obviously, no Jerry Judy. He's with the Cleveland Browns now. So I think that leaves Marvin Mims to get most of the reps as receiver one eventually this year. And he's very good. Had a very good year last year. There's more room to grow. And obviously, he'll get more targets, in my opinion, even when Courtland Sutton is there. But I think once Courtland Sutton, once he is shipped off eventually, trade deadline or even a little bit before that, I definitely think Mims might break out and be, a real. I don't think he's ever going to be a receiver one per se, as far as like status, but for this team, until they get a new receiver one or until Troy Franklin, someone else steps up, I think he'll be receiver one by title on this team, and he'll get most of the catches, most of the situations going through him. And like I said, when Troy Franklin he gets more involved and he has a connection already with Bo Nix, play together in college, he might step up and be receiver one or receiver two. No, two receiver twos, him and Mims maybe next year, but this year I think Mims steps up and make some plays and make things happen. And like I said, I think Courtland Sutton does get moved on from eventually this year. So that's the list, guys. That's my 10. As I said, I named some other guys on the list that could have been there. Like I said, Greg Dort from the Cardinals. Even A.T. Perry, who I didn't mention at all. A.T. Perry from the Saints. Love his play. Love how he looks. I wanted him on this list so bad. I just didn't love the quarterback being Derek Carr. Plain and simple. So I don't think Derek Carr will do him justice. And most of the targets go on the Hill, Taysom Hill, and Chris Olave. And Kamara's back fully healthy. Plus, you have the running game there with what's his name, with Kamara and what's the big boy Williams, and so I just think AC Perry is good. Might see on this list last year. I could be wrong. He could be getting the ball more and more than what I'm thinking, but I think the ball's going to be spread around just enough where AC Perry can't really get enough PT or good enough looks to be considered a breakout. But next year, he's one of my prime candidates to look at because I think next year will be his year to probably break out. But we'll see. We'll see how everything shakes out. Things can change. I could be wrong. He could be on a whole new team next year. We'll see. But that's it for video, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys next time.